What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the review and discussion for UnOrdinary, episode 309. It honestly still feels kind of weird to say 300 at the beginning of all these. Anyway, honestly, another talking episode, and it's mostly fine. But honestly, upon reading again, nothing too crazy happens during this episode. So basically, now let's just get into it. So the channel, or the episode, starts off with the same broadcast that William saw with the authorities announcing Spectre as a terrorist organization. I'm pretty sure it is the exact same broadcast, or it could be the same guy, Waluigi motherfucker, going on TV to make the same announcements over and over. But so Sarah is watching it, and she mentions that it's being broadcast again and again. Basically, she's kind of down because even now she's being reminded that they're after her and that she's involved with all this. She asks Layla what the plan is, since they clearly aren't able to stay with Doc forever. They're putting a target on his back. But Layla mentions that they're going to be grounded for a bit since Oren's cut them off from Spectre resources in his territory. But Neil, her and Caden's boss, executive that they officially report to, are trying and working to get them back into his territory, where they should be safer than the current moments. But when Sarah mentions not being able to see everyone, Layla apologizes for it being hard on Sarah. And Sarah then also mentions that the goodbyes felt rushed, but Layla catches on that she's talking about her goodbye with John and talks about their connection. John refusing to leave Sarah's side when she was unconscious after Liam attacked them, but also how Sarah was wanting to get her ability back so she could help John. And Sarah then mentions that John has been through his own share of struggles, and she's worried that he may take her leaving so quickly as her abandoning him. And while I can't see that, I'm glad that John doesn't. I think it is fairly obvious that John definitely doesn't think that any of this is Sarah's fault. And he clearly he's upset about the whole thing, but he's upset at the right people. He's upset with Spectre. He's upset with the authorities because these two forces are driving them apart. And while this is going to be a big challenge for John, having to manage without Sarah again, it is going to be interesting. And I think so far, John is actually handling the situation fairly well. And I'll mention on this later. But he knows that the situation that Sarah's in is messed up, and I think it's pretty obvious that he's not holding it against her. Just like she's sad that she can't see him, he's sad that he can't see her. So, yeah. Layla then has a quick moment herself, though, after hearing Sarah mentioning abandoning someone, and Layla reflects on how she just ran away, leaving Sarah to face their parents all alone as a child. And she's telling herself that she can't force Sarah to do the same thing to her friends. And Layla then tells Sarah that she doesn't want to make the same mistakes that she doesn't want Sarah to make the same mistakes that she herself made, and tells her that they should bring John over before they leave so that they can have a proper goodbye and discussion to explain the whole situation, so that Sarah doesn't have the same regrets as she does. And honestly, I really like that. Layla definitely feels bad about abandoning Sarah, and I think a lot of us in the fandom were also very skeptical as to the kind of person that Layla was, but I think it is very obvious at this point she does care about Sarah, and she feels awful that she did end up abandoning her as a child. Sarah definitely held that grudge against her, but it's understandable why Layla did that. Their parents were clearly awful to her and everything, and I'm gonna be honest, it probably would have been a lot harder for both of them if she just took Sarah with her, and they probably would have been a lot more legal ramifications to that as well. But who knows? Quick side note, I am very curious to see Narissa again, because the last time we basically saw her, Sarah just told her, hey, if I run away too, like, people are gonna ask questions about you. They're gonna wonder what's so wrong with the two of you. But anyway, Doc then shows up, and he needs John's blood because he's got an idea. He's definitely gonna be like, there's a connection here. This got John's DNA in it. This got John's DNA in it. or something like that. But yeah, so Layla wants to bring John over to talk, and Doc needs John's blood. So yeah. We then cut quickly to Kuyo and Kaden. Kuyo is actually still scuffed up, which I think is really interesting that he hasn't gotten any treatment of some sorts, or that he doesn't have anything to like treat himself with if he's like trying to become a doctor. I don't know. Kind of weird, honestly. But they talk things out as Kuyo tells Kaden that he's a vigilante, and Kaden reluctantly tells Kuyo about Spectre and everything that's been happening after Kuyo pries a bit, showing Kaden the announcements and everything, and also telling Kaden, I know you're lying, Kaden, just tell me the truth. And he tells what's going on what's going on right now with the high tiers and the kidnappings and the murders isn't the organization as a whole. It's mainly Oren's fault. The two also discuss how Ember is a branch of the government, and Kaden even hopes that this will be enough information to have Oren removed as an executive. Kuyo definitely has some doubts. He's definitely like, this isn't a good look for you, Kaden. Like, I'm out helping people, but your organization's out murdering people. So, like, what's the situation? But I think, the age-old saying, a lot of issues in anime and manga and webtoons could be solved if people just talked things out, actually. And, yeah, I think that both of them clearly still aren't telling each other everything, but I think this has been told enough where they both can realize, okay, we can trust each other. So, yeah, Kaden gets a call on the phone, and he meets up with John and tells him that Doc needs another blood sample from John. And when John asks if it's a prank, realizing that he'll probably be seeing Sarah again, Kaden tells him it's not, let's go. And they teleport away, and the episode ends. So yeah, it's a really short episode upon second reading. And yeah, the conversations are cool. I am glad that... Didn't I even ask if John and Sarah were going to see each other again soon? Oh well. Anyway, it's still a fairly good episode, all things considered. Not too much crazy happens. It was short because Uru was recovering from a hand injury, or like her hand was strained. So it's fine. But overall, I would say that this episode is just a level 7 episode. Still pretty good, but I am excited to see where tomorrow's episode, or today's, by the time we're watching this, by the time today's episode. Anyway, yeah, that'll be it for this. There's really not much else to delve into with this episode, honestly. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments. And as always, everyone, see you, Space Cowboy.